Hello, welcome to another interesting episode of your flagship program, Telecom Weekly. I am your host, Oluwatobi Enita. The program, sponsored by the telecom regulator, the Nigerian Communications Commission, is aimed at educating, informing and updating you with the latest trends, issues, news and developments in the telecom and ICT sectors in Nigeria and other parts of the world. At NCC, we remain focused on our core values of integrity, excellence, professionalism, responsiveness, innovation, and commitment. Welcome. Coming up in this edition, NCC remains resolute in tackling the menace of cybercrime. How is the internet creating business opportunities? Also in this edition, a look at encouraging the girl child in ICT, plus the role of stakeholders in protecting telecom infrastructure. As you can see, this week's episode is well packaged for your enjoyment. Please stay with us.
On NCC Telecom Weekly, we bring you innovations, trends, policies and stakeholders, redefining all sectors of our economy today. Here, you'll see the actors, policymakers and creativity that will shape your mind and business for growth in line with today's reality. Join us every Friday, 5 p.m. on NTN Network and on radio, FRCN Network on Fridays, 8 p.m. NCC, Connecting Nigeria.
Under the Cybercrime Act 2015 in Nigeria, hackers, if found guilty of unlawfully accessing a computer system or network, are liable to a fine of up to 10 million naira or a prison term of 5 years. With a seeming growing ugly trend, how are stakeholders waging war against the menace?
Technology is part of our daily lives. Internet usage and dependence on the internet increase on a daily basis. One could say that this contributes to the world being seen as a global village due to the connections that the internet affords. Despite this, it's important that while we acknowledge the benefits and opportunities of the internet age, we also need to address the threats. As with all technologies, there will always be people who utilize them for nefarious reasons. In this respect, there is need to recognize that cyber terrorism is a growing concern for internet users. Cyber terrorism constitutes premeditated attacks which cause fear and harm to the targets. Cyber attacks cause disruption to computer networks by means of computer viruses using malware. They are used to steal financial information, steal data, and even cause violence within societies. There's need to be proactive when fighting cyber terrorism, especially through continuous sensitization, as it is often difficult to trace the perpetrators once the crime has been committed, as most cyber terrorists are computer savvy and can hide their internet footprints. The Nigerian Communications Commission recognizes that cyber terrorism is a threat and has taken credible steps to tackle it. The Commission, under the leadership of Professor Umar Garuba Dambata, spearheaded the enactment of the Nigerian Cybercrime Act 2015. The Act not only addresses cyber terrorism, but also outlaws cyber squatting, cyberbullying, and other related crimes. Many of these efforts and interventions have been carried out in collaboration with both international and local players in the industry. The Commission recognizes the need for collaboration and has worked extensively with the International Telecommunications Union and local law enforcement agencies, particularly the Office of the National Security Advisor, NSA, to curb the menace of cyber terrorism and cybercrime. The month of October is the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, aimed at raising awareness about cybersecurity and to provide the public with general knowledge and tools required for online safety and to prevent vulnerability to cyber attacks. The NCC ensures during this period that consumers are empowered through awareness and sensitization campaigns by providing information on both the positive and negative potentials available online and measures required to safeguard themselves and their loved ones. Telecom consumers are educated on cybersecurity issues during this month, such as cybercrime and cybersecurity. understanding the law on cybercrime, that is the Cybercrime Act, child online protection, COP, online security and safety tips. The Nigerian Communications Commission also set up the Computer Security Incident Response Team, CSAT, as the telecom sector's cybersecurity incident dedicated to incidents in the telecom sector and as may well affect telecom consumers and citizens at large. The CSAT works collaboratively with the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team, NGSAT, established by the federal government to reduce the volume of future computer risk incidents by preparing, protecting and securing Nigerian cyberspace to forestall attacks and problems or related events.
Computers networked in such a manner as to keep at bay instances of cybersecurity attacks, specifically on the telecommunication networks provided by mobile network operators, but generally to render the kind of assistance that will result in what we call strategic collaboration and partnerships with other agencies of government. So the CSAT should be seen in that light, that while it will be providing protection from cyber attacks on telecommunications networks in the country, it will also collaborate with other agencies of government, both within the sector and with other agencies outside the sector, in order to ensure the protection of Nigeria's cyberspace.
Some respondents share their experiences as they relate to cyber terrorism and other forms of cyber crimes.
I have had my WhatsApp before. Yes, I started receiving all kinds of messages, and people were complaining or calling me that I was demanding something from them, which I never did. So I was advised to shut it down and get it protected, because probably somebody must have hacked into it and was using my WhatsApp to do such things. Yes.
So these scammers, these people are dubious. I mean, these people are quite intelligent, because it takes an intelligent person to be able to actually scam people. Those who are engaged in cyber crime like that should be dealt with thoroughly, because you have no idea how much pain and then trauma they must have caused. Because you hear of students losing their school fees to scam. You hear of a lot of things happening, and
a lot of people does not understand how this crime are being committed, because they are not sensitized on the issue. If to say they have been sensitized, continue on this issue, informing them how these people operate, how they move, how they do things, you find out that a lot of people today, because likewise myself, I have been a victim. When we talk about cybercrime, you find out that the people mostly in this operation now are youth, small boys.
As anyone who uses the internet for any reason can be a victim of cyber terrorism, here are some incisive tips and steps to be considered as possible ways to prevent and fight this sophisticated nature of crime. Use strong passwords. Set up two-factor authentication. Be social media savvy. Secure your mobile devices. Protect your identity online. Protect your computer with security software. Cybersecurity is not reserved for a group of people. It is truly everyone's business, bringing competence and knowledge to help build a safer and more inclusive information society.
The coming of the internet has not only made the world a global village, it has also created opportunities in all spheres of human endeavor. Our next story tells us more how the internet is a useful tool to people in Nigeria and the world over.
The internet is an ideal tool that offers boundless opportunities among people worldwide, varying from personal, developmental, and economic prospects. Of note is in the area of job prospect, with gainful employment for the youth becoming a global challenge, especially in developed economies. Decent incomes are being generated daily through the internet. The ongoing information technology revolution is transforming the globe from agriculture, education, tourism, and sport to health, as well as creating new ones. Likewise, the need for internet applications that are powering these changes span a wide range of skills, ranging from the most basic to very advanced, offering opportunities for people of varying abilities. Even in some of the hard-to-reach and most underdeveloped regions across the globe, the internet has become accessible through mobile phones as people begin using data-enabled mobiles to access the World Wide Web, often through applications like browsers, such as Chrome and Firefox, and also through social media applications like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and the rest. As of December 2022, the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) puts the current number of active data subscriptions in the country at about 157 million, a tool that is very essential for internet-based services and businesses. Today, so many youths are gainfully engaged in various economic activities that exist through internet-enabled devices, such as taxi services, food vending, laundry services, cleaning businesses, and general trading, amongst others.
The introduction of information technology has done a whole lot of tremendous transformation in all facets of life. Based on my own line of transportation, the introduction of this into our society today has made the work so efficient and simple. Back in the days when we used to do things in the analog way, but this has really transformed a whole lot of changes in our society today. Take example, you are at a spot whereby you are linked with a whole lot of people to know which way are you going, is there traffic congestion, or where is high demand of request. So with this introduction of technology, it makes the work so simple and so easy and efficient to everybody who is using it, and it's more safer for both the client and you who is using the applications.
One other major source of internet-enabled income available to so many people in our country today is fintech-enabled businesses such as the point of sale POS in banking. This is an electronic device through which a customer can make a payment to a merchant in exchange for goods or after provision of a service through debit, credit, or prepaid cards. The ICT industry is indeed a sea of ideas waiting to be harnessed and developed. But how much do people know about opportunities that exist in this kind of innovative world of opportunities?
We talk about how internet has helped one in business. It makes things fast, it saves time, and it saves energy. Just like when you talk about transaction now, that one doesn't need to go to bank before you transact before you have to deposit money. You can, at a convenient place, use your phone and transfer your money, or even withdraw anywhere you are at any time. So it has really saved time and saved energy as a result of, as a matter of fact.
The internet indeed holds the ace to innovations, ideas, and startup processes. The economic empowerment, meaningful work opportunities, and other productive and fulfilling businesses that exist in the ICT and the new media industry cannot be quantified. It can therefore be inferred that ICT-enabled wealth and affluence have never been so rapid in the history of the world as it is today. Thus, all that is needed, especially among the youth, to benefit maximally from the prospect offered by the internet is to continually explore their minds on new innovations and ideas to create wealth and opportunities for themselves. The pandemic further exposed the importance of the internet towards global sustainability. With the lockdown in place worldwide, individuals, businesses, and government resorted to the use of digital technologies to recommence daily activities like running businesses, staying informed, conducting meetings, and educational pursuits, among others. With emerging technologies such as 5G, the Internet of Things, artificial technologies, and cloud computing pushing the boundaries of internet-enabled activities, it can be deduced that digital economic drive of the country will be successfully attained, as this would dramatically improve accessibility and inclusivity.
can always be a part of this program by joining us via our multiple social media platforms. For inquiries on this program, you can send a mail to telecomweekly@ncc.gov.ng. For further details about the activities of the Commission, visit www.ncc.gov.ng. Good to know you are still tuned to our flagship program, Telecom Weekly, sponsored by NCC. The need to bridge the gap between the men and the women in ICT remains a serious concern to stakeholders. How far so far in the quest to encourage the girl child to embrace ICT?
The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), as evident in its programs, has been committed to bridging the gender gap in ICT skills and promoting digital equality. The NCC has put on the front burner the need to expose girls and young women to more opportunities in the digital ecosystem, and in line with the International Telecommunications Union (ITU) Resolution 70, which advocates gender mainstreaming and promotion of gender equality as well as the empowerment of girls and women through the information and communications technology (ICT). Every year, the ITU and organizations like the NCC partner to inspire and encourage girls to pursue careers in ICTs. To achieve this, they provide school-age females with the necessary skills, tools, and support.
As we deploy information and communications technology to promote gender equality and parity, we are sensitive about who and who should be involved, who should be in the forefront, in the promotion of this important, very important, statement of the ICT policy as regards, women and girls. So we reserve special interventions for women and girls. We organize competitions. We create, above all, the conducive environment in the NCC that will promote gender equality and parity.
The theme for the 2023 Girls in ICT is Digital Skills for Life. The objective is to equip girls and young women with skills to thrive in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM-based careers.
It's a global movement for girls and women's empowerment through technology. And this year, we're focusing our efforts on digital skills. Digital skills can change lives. Even basic digital skills training can be a turning point for many women and girls around the world. Digital skills will help bridge the digital gender divide. They are the tools you need to become the tech creators, innovators, and leaders of tomorrow.
Under the present leadership of the NCC, the girl child and women in ICT have enjoyed various support through initiatives such as Nigerian Women Entrepreneurs and Executives in Tech Summit, Girl Child Education in Information and Communication Technology, and Niger Girls Can Code initiative, among others. The NCC has over the years held sensitization campaigns in Abuja and its zonal offices across the country in furtherance of its commitment to promote the empowerment of young women through ICT. The Commission, through various forms of support and participation in activities that educate children on ways to keep safe online, has been advancing the objective to promote and safeguard national interest, safety and security. Speaking of the Commission's quest to always give women and girls the needed support, Yetunde Akinloye, the Director, Policy, Competition and Economic Analysis Department, says the NCC will do everything to push for gender parity in the promotion of digital inclusion. She made this known at the maiden edition of Women of Excellence Award held in Lagos.
The NCC, we have a lot of women in management positions and all that. Yes, it can be better, but in comparison to other places, NCC is doing well.
ICT is the driving force of the future, and therefore the future of Nigeria's development will in part depend on how early girls are educated to embrace ICT.
Essentially, ICT skills will lead girls into interesting and useful careers in technology as the new force in the global economy. Indeed, the Commission has continued to show its support towards encouraging the inclusion and promoting the contributions of girls and women to the telecom industry in Nigeria. At the NCC, we believe that gender should never be seen as a limitation, but as a strength and asset.
Telecommunications network infrastructure such as cables, satellites, cellular towers, optic fiber cables, base transceiver stations, BTS, plays an important role in maintaining the stability of the society worldwide. Therefore, the need to protect these important infrastructure has become imperative, as highlighted in our next story.
Telecom infrastructure is the backbone of information and communications technology. Thus, the negative impact of incessant vandalism of telecom equipment, evident in fiber cords, theft of telecom facilities like generators and batteries at base transceiver sites, and vandalism of base stations, among other vices, have become a major burden on service providers, while telecom consumers have continued to suffer unwarranted disruptions to much-needed telecom services. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) reported over 50,000 cases of major destruction to telecom infrastructure and facilities across the country over the last 5 years up to 2022, raising alarms over the implication of this incident to the quality of telecommunications services in Nigeria.
We receive reports of vandalization of telecom infrastructures from our operating telecom companies. And these acts impact on the delivered quality of service and the availability of the digital platforms. Some of the impacts are as follows: destruction of network services, disconnection of digital platforms, point of sale machines. All depends on the national telecom infrastructure.
For the NCC, the need for the designation of telecommunications infrastructure as critical national infrastructure has always been imperative. Acts of willful destruction of telecoms infrastructure, fiber cords and general vandalism have become very worrisome. Hence, the proposal for the institution of critical infrastructure law that will require law enforcement agencies to monitor and protect public infrastructure. To further ensure the protection of telecom infrastructure, the Industry Working Group on Multiple Taxation presented a brief that proposed the designation of telecommunications infrastructure as critical national infrastructure. This is in furtherance of the mandate of the Commission as contained in the Nigerian Communications Act, NCA 2003. The NCC has also designed Memorandum of Understanding with some security agencies to protect telecommunication facilities. To underscore the importance attached to the protection of telecom infrastructure, it is important to note that breakdown in the communication system negatively affects other societal systems that depend on connectivity to function.
It is clearly knowing that no nation can grow without the state of critical national infrastructure. And it has become our citizen's responsibility here in the Nigerian society to come together, create synergy with the military and other security agencies to see how we can take ownership of this infrastructure within our environment.
A major setback to providers of telecom services remains vandalism. The high demand for various infrastructure components has increased the rates of vandalism, siphoning of fuel from the generators, theft of backup batteries, solar panels, copper rods from masts, and fiber cords, deliberate or otherwise, have become recurring acts of vandalism. Without a doubt, the destruction of telecom infrastructure has various effects on the operators as well as the consumers of telecom services. This includes the monetary costs through increased operational and maintenance costs. This inevitably leads to reduced revenue margins, which can only be buffered by increasing the prices of services.
We have not less than 40 vandalism cases on a daily basis, be it by way of sites being sealed, fiber optic cables being cut, gensets being lifted. People go to sites and use forklift and lift the genset, yank it off from the connection and take them away. It happens within the country, So the statistics are quite alarming and worrisome, and both the government and the telecoms are really worried about, this scenario.
To ensure a stable telecoms environment, the NCC has engaged in various consultative intervention with the Federal Executive Council and the Nigerian Governors Forum to educate government agencies, especially at the state and local government levels. The Commission's message to these stakeholders is that vandalization and destruction of telecom infrastructure drastically affects the economy.
For instance, the BTS site close to your house is vandalized. The whole economic activity you can do is crippled. So it negatively affects economic activity, which depend on these infrastructures. Even for investors who would like to invest in Nigeria, when they hear the enormity, the number of vandalism of telecom infrastructure, they are worried because it increases the cost of operations.
The Industry Consumer Advisory Forum, ICAF, has also advocated the need for stakeholders to contribute towards improving the quality of service delivery by the operators in the country. The Commission has continued to conduct sensitization campaigns to educate citizens on the need to see the protection of telecommunications infrastructure as a collective responsibility. The NCC reiterates that aside from the role of law enforcement agencies and the MNOs in protecting telecom infrastructure, the consumers are obliged to ensure the protection of telecoms infrastructure in the environment. To enable the provision of modern, universal, efficient, reliable, affordable, and easily accessible communication services in Nigeria, and to carry out this duty efficiently, the Commission requires the support of all stakeholders towards the protection of telecom infrastructure, which is essentially physical and the virtual assets designed for telecommunication networks that connect Nigeria and beyond.
We have come to the end of this week's edition of Telecom Weekly. Before we go, don't forget you can always be a part of this program by joining us via our multiple social media platforms. For inquiries on this program, you can send a mail to telecomweekly@ncc.gov.ng. For further details on the activities of the Commission, visit www.ncc.gov.ng. Telecom Weekly is brought to you by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. NCC, supporting a market-driven communications industry. Until we come your way again next week, I am Oluwatobi Enitan, saying bye for now.